Hi everyone, I'm Benjamin Bryant from Bryant McKinnon Lawyers, and here with me is Heather McKinnon. We're here to launch episode 46 of our podcast, The Family Matters Show. On episode 46, we talked about de facto relationships and the common questions that we get in respect to de facto relationships. Sometimes people think that de facto relationships is pretty basic, you're either in one or you're not, but perhaps not. Some people spend a lot of money and a lot of years in the litigation system to figure out whether they're even in one. So Heather, I know that we talked about some examples of what the court might use to decide or consider when a de facto relationship starts. Can you recall any of those?
It's early in the morning then. Like the definition talks about marriage-like relationships, but when you get into one of those contested cases, you're looking for things like, did they have Christmas together? Did they go to their nephew's 21st? Did other people in the family write to them as a couple? So it's all the nitty-gritty of everyday life that really helps us as lawyers work out what the quality and nature of a relationship was.
That's right, and the public element, I guess you could say. And also when you go through those considerations, sometimes there's some, let's face it, crazy scenarios that arrive when you could be deemed to be in a de facto relationship when you're not even living together.
Yeah, there's been a couple of really good cases to help us with that, where people, particularly nowadays, professionals who have these crazy professional lives where they live on different continents and places, that require FIFO work. And so the couple may be apart from each other for half the year. So again, it's not as easy as you think, and I mean, it helps us make a living, I suppose.
I guess. And a lot of people fall into a trap of, they say, if they're married, they forget that you can actually be in a de facto relationship before you become married, because you have, the date the relationship start, you have dates of cohabitation, you have the date of marriage, date of separation, date of divorce. And it's not necessarily clear-cut when all those things happen.
No, it's really complex, and it's really important that people understand that it's not a simple one-stop shop, if you like.
And Heather, I recall on this episode as well, you gave some great advice, speaking about marriage, going to prenups, of course. And we have a particular view at our firm about prenuptial agreements. But I know that you spoke about some things that the parties can do to try and identify and quantify, I guess, the assets that each of the parties had of the relationship to make sure that's taken into account later on if there was a separation.
Yeah, I think it's really important because the media loves the buzzword of prenup, and it's not necessarily the most secure way to look at protecting your future.
Yeah. I think that's enough from us, Heather. To listen to the full episode of episode 46 about de facto relationships, check out our website, bryantmckinnon.com.au, or jump onto wherever you get